enjoys. I like to collect recordings, old historical recordings, the like 78 records that were made in the, in the 1920s and 30s of opera. And my family really enjoys when I play these. And the thing you have to realize about these old recordings is that the record noise is very scratchy. It's very difficult. The noise is terrible, but you really you forget that when you begin to appreciate the extraordinary artistry in the record. And so ever since we first came to family camp, I thought it would be terribly nice to share with you one of the recordings from my collection. And I looked back through my records and I discovered that in 1927, now some of you in the room may go back that far, there was a music festival that was held right here at Rockland, in which various artists sang some operas from some of the greatest artists from the operas. And it's a little known fact that Calvin Coolidge's wife, Malvina, was quite an accomplished opera singer. And I looked back in my collection and I found that I had a recording of Malvina Coolidge singing at the 1927 Rock Point Music Festival, singing the famous aria Casta Diva from the opera by Vincenzo Bellini called Norma. Now, unfortunately, I do have it in my basement. I have a special laboratory for doing digital remastering. You've never heard of digital remastering? That's where you take the old recordings and improve. I did the best that I could with this recording, and I'll share some of it with you. It's really not very satisfactory. And by the way, before I go any further, I should acknowledge I had a lot of assistance in this skit. Even though I'm up here by myself, I have to acknowledge the special effects that were provided by Nate and Ben, and Laura provided some of the costume that I'm wearing right now. And so, play a little bit of this recording. But I still wanted to share with you the emotional excitement of that night in the summer of 1927 when Malvina sang that immortal aria, Casta Diva, from the opera Norma by Vincenzo Bellini. So I decided to try something else. What I decided to do was to try to recreate by osmosis this extraordinary performance. And so what I did was I played that recording that you just heard. I had it on a continuous loop tape. I just played it over and over and over again while we were sleeping. And I did that for about 3 months. And during that time, I think our marriage was under quite a bit of strain. I'm happy to say that I sent Sue to get some counseling, and things were, we managed to catch it up. So what I'm going to do, you see, I've absorbed this entire thing. But before we get any further, I should put you into the picture of to understand this aria, you need to know a little bit about the background of the story. Norma is an Egyptian princess, and like Nate was sort of sharing in one of the skits, Norma suffered from some difficulties. She too was, as Nate said, was lonely, And in addition, she had some other difficulties, which, well, some people call it irregularity, which means that she had a lot of difficulty doing the things that we normally take. And she was very eager to try some of the new products that were on the market. 200 BC, this took place. And her wicked stepsister tried to persuade her to try one of the new products that was then on the market. But Norma decided to remain faithful to the ancient remedies. And I'll just read you this little extract from the stage just before she sings this aria. She cries out to Isis and Osiris to help her in her difficulties. And I'll just read you directly from the story. It said, taking her reaping sickle, she crops a few branches of the mistletoe from the oak and drops them into several white cloths held by the priestesses for that purpose. Then advancing, she raises her hands and eyes to heaven, the moon shining brightly. So just to get into the mood here, I'll Now, I should say that some of the emotional content of this aria is really quite intense. And I think if there are any children or any middle-aged men who would like to step out a little, you might feel better as a result.